If you're a fan of UFC or just curious about the sport, you might think you know all the rules that govern these intense battles inside the octagon. But did you know there are some truly weird and surprising rules that even hardcore fans often overlook? One of these strange UFC rules can completely change the flow of a fight, and it might just blow your mind. The strange rule. No grappling against the cage for too long. One weird but important UFC rule involves how long a fighter can hold their opponent against the cage without actively trying to advance or attack. It sounds simple, but it's a rule that can make or break a fight. UFC referees expect fighters to keep the action moving. If a fighter is just leaning on the cage, holding their opponent without trying to improve position or land strikes, the ref will step in and reset the fighters to the center of the octagon. This rule keeps fights exciting and prevents stalling tactics that could bore fans. Why does this rule exist? The UFC is a fast-paced, action-packed sport designed to entertain millions of viewers. When fighters stall by holding onto the cage without attacking or progressing, it slows down the fight and frustrates audiences. The rule encourages fighters to be aggressive and dynamic, which makes the sport more thrilling to watch. The impact on fighters' strategy. This rule means fighters must balance control with activity. Simply controlling an opponent against the cage isn't enough. They must constantly look for ways to attack or improve their position. It forces a mix of skill, endurance, and strategy. Some fighters have lost valuable moments or even matches because they got penalized or reset due to this rule. It pushes athletes to develop more creative and aggressive cage tactics. Other weird UFC rules you might not know. No downward elbow strikes. Though elbows are allowed, strikes that come straight down can cause severe injury and are banned. This surprises many viewers who expect elbows to be all in. No 12-6 elbows, straight down. This is a very specific rule that prohibits elbows moving strictly vertically downward, even if other elbow strikes are allowed. No grabbing the fence. Fighters sometimes grab the cage to gain leverage, but it's illegal and can result in warnings or point deductions. 30-second timeout for doctor checks. If a fighter is hurt, the doctor can give a brief timeout to assess, but it's strictly limited to keep the fight moving. The role of referees and officials. UFC referees play a critical role in enforcing these weird and specific rules. They have to make split-second decisions to keep the fight fair, safe, and entertaining. When the referee steps in to separate fighters stuck against the cage, it's not just to stop the action. It's to maintain the pace and uphold the rule that prevents stalling. Officials also monitor illegal moves closely, such as grabbing the fence or using prohibited strikes. Fighters can receive warnings, point deductions, or even disqualifications for breaking these rules, which can dramatically alter the outcome of a fight. How fighters adapt to these rules. Professional UFC fighters train extensively to adapt their fighting styles within these rules. For example, knowing they can't just lean on the cage without action, many develop quick takedowns or striking combinations to stay active. They also practice techniques that are effective yet legal, avoiding moves that could cost them points or lead to penalties. The weird rules create an environment where fighters must be versatile and creative. They can't rely solely on brute strength or stalling tactics. They have to constantly think, adapt, and push the pace to impress judges and win fans. What this means for fans. Knowing these weird rules adds a new layer of appreciation when watching UFC. The sport isn't just about brute force. It's a complex game with nuanced regulations that keep fighters pushing their limits while maintaining fairness and excitement. Understanding the reasons behind referee interventions, point deductions, or sudden fight resets makes the viewing experience more engaging. Fans can better appreciate the strategy and skill involved, not just the raw violence. Final thoughts. So next time you watch a UFC fight and see the referee step in to separate fighters stuck against the cage or call out a rule violation, remember, it's all part of a carefully designed system to keep the action flowing and the competition fair. These weird and surprising rules might seem strange at first, but they play a crucial role in shaping one of the most exciting combat sports in the world. The next time someone asks, "Did you know this weird UFC rule?" You'll be ready to drop some knowledge and impress them with how deep and strategic the sport really is.